That is a really good perspective to have. A non-solo cadet having complaints on the way PD's functioning is... Let me cook. Let me fucking cook. Let me introduce you all to a flashbang. This is all people have complained about. She feels like she's a problem. It's the wrong way of, I think, viewing it. Hi, Amanda. How you doing? Small children's book? I'm telling you. Let me introduce you all to my giant book of shit. Let me get in queue first, and then we'll write the statement. Mitch, FTOs have to vote. And the reality is that I think if people are going to vote, they need to be comfortable. And if Penny's not comfortable with something, so be it. I think the problem, though, isn't the fact that she's not a PPO. The problem is that we're not allowing her to go on sessions out of shift, which is fucking mind-boggling to me, if I'm being honest. I think that we should allow to take cadets right now out of shift. I do not see a valid reason as to why. Like, I think for it doesn't make sense. That's Ruthism. I don't like the fact that people throw around Ruth's name so negatively all the time. The reality is this. If you heard, Ruth said that she couldn't be on shift, and I asked, did you tell Ruth that Slacks gave you permission to be out of shift if there's no cadets? And she said no. So that one, respectfully, could fall on Penny to not, just say, hey, Slacks told me that this was okay. At that point, now Ruth would know that there's an imbalance from the top and she needs to address it, right? So I think people need to remember that there's multiple perspectives on that. Okay. I think we do a good job at like setting the bar, though. I think Flop does a good job. Officer's got to trust a cadet. Yeah, I'm gonna. We'll keep writing actually, real quick. I'll do this actually. Yeah. All right. Officer has mixed signals from multiple captains stating. Yeah, they go to shifts. Nikita, oh my gosh, thank you for the big raid. I appreciate you. Oh, I wanted to talk to Tessa. Oh, we had a meeting that went to the storm. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh. 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 Where? Okay, we're good. We're fine. Thank you so much. I appreciate the raid. Welcome, everybody. I'm Chris. I play Flop. Hope everyone had a great time over at Nikita's. We're about to go into the meeting. We're about to actually have a very big conversation, I think, with the captains, or at least one of the captains. We're going to finish up some statements real quick in my document. And I think we're about to really lay it on the captains. And I think it's going to be a very blunt conversation. And sorry.
Yeah.
I think I think it's going to be a hard to swallow pill, and I think that a lot of repercussions could come to flop for it, but I think they're honest statements. Hey, give me a minute. I gotta write something. I can't be interrupted. I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk to you.
Yes, you did.
No, I don't. Piss me the frick off, dude.
And you didn't invite me to the homie Discord. Okay. Officer does not feel wanted into the UPD. Due to the inconsistent.
Already did it, sorry.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's a good one. Oh, hey, Bear. Oh.
Hi. Yeah.
Ooh. You were not Barrack. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Finally remove my. No, this is flop.
Hello.
No, do you want to hear about these two
Hi.
crazy guys that just parked in front of the fucking, like, city hall and tried to act like nothing bad was happening? They drove a fucking Group 6 van in front of City Hall and parked it.
Like by the front doors.
Yeah, and then they tried to, like, brush it off like it didn't happen.
Like they parked him in front of the doors?
Yes.
Damn.
I hate.
How
I
many
hate to
how
say
many
this,
times
but that
unlawful
happens-
imprisonment do they need?
It's just crazy.
I mean, unlawful imprisonment, I believe, let me just double check.
I think the doors are still accessible.
Restricts a person's movement within any area without justification or consent.
That is extremely vague. Never mind.
I'm just
Who
saying.
the fuck wrote these?
I don't
Who
know,
wrote these
but
laws?
if you go ahead and
Why are
count.
you laughing? This is a serious thing.
Listen.
Why are you both laughing?
It's funny to
It's
think that
very
every person who's
serious.
inside of the courthouse or city hall, that's one count per person. That person could honestly have the book thrown at them if they wanted.
Listen, it's a very serious thing.
Well,
but when you look at the wording and realize how vague it is, it's kind of funny.
It is pretty crazy how vague it is.
Which charge?
It's unlawful imprisonment.
I do have to step out of the room real quick. But yeah, definitely look at unlawful imprisonment. If you have a case to build around it, you should definitely question everybody that
Are you
has ever.
stepping out of the room to laugh.
No, I was
That's
writing
a
something.
serious deal. I want you to know that.
I know.
He's 100% stepping out of the room to laugh.
No, I'm not. I swear. I was working on something when
Why
you
are
walked
you
up to
laughing
me.
right now? Why are you laughing right now?
I'm not laughing. I don't know what you're talking
You were
about.
laughing. You chuckled. I heard it.
You're not
I don't know what you're
laughing.
talking
Are you
about.
trying to gaslight us?
No.
That's crazy.
Oh wait, no, gaslighting isn't real. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ran away.
Okay. Thank you again, Nikita, for the raid. I appreciate it. All right. So let's talk about what's going on. Officer, I feel wanted in the UPD due to the inconsistent responses received from everybody. Clear lines have been
His pants. He loves his pants.
clear lines have been misconstrued. Officer does not feel wanted in the UPD due to the inconsistent responses received from everybody. Clear lines have been misconstrued, and officer has voiced concerns about how they're taught better. And those lines are ignored. And then in flop notes, oh my god. Hello? This is Duncan.
Hello, I ended up somehow on the train tracks.
Oh! I'm gonna come
Do you
grab
want
you.
to come get me? Okay.
Yes, yeah. Where are you on the tracks?
I'm over by the bridge. I think it's not that far.
Are you on duty?
I can. Oh yeah, let me get on duty.
Yeah, go and get on duty. I'm gonna grab a car. I'll come save you.
Yay! Thank you.
I got
okay,
you.
see you soon.
I'll see
Yeah.
you soon. Bye bye.
All right, see you soon. Bye.
Yeah. The problem here's my issue with the PD. This is a genuine problem that I can't stand. But this is also a reality, and luckily I'm following it through in character. Complaints are being brought up. I wish people, how do I say this? If there's problems, I wish they would be addressed more than going around and gossiping about it. Because unfortunately, complaints do not resolve issues. Addressing complaints resolves issues. And I think that's where everyone gets it wrong, respectfully speaking. Oi!
Found me.
I got you! Alright.
It's not that far. How the heck did I end up here? Oh, I was sitting on the train tracks when I was off duty with my car, seeing if the train would come.
That would make sense.
But it never came.
Well, amnesia, you just kind of found yourself back on the tracks?
Yeah. Now I'm back on track again. Didn't.
Alright.
Why is that one unlocked?
Psycho, that's not actually true. Ziggy doesn't want to be a cop. Not anymore. Bison's situation's interesting. There you go.
Oh, good job.
I'm gonna finish writing some stuff real quick. I'll
Okay.
be up at the meeting room in about a minute or two.
Okay.
Awesome. See you there.
See ya.
Absents have too much on their plate, especially with the city going wild. The problem is that without order, there's anarchy, and when there's anarchy, you're left with you're essentially left with a non-functioning system, and with a non-functioning system, we can't operate, and if we can't operate, then a resolution can't be had. People need to realize that you start with one thing. You can't focus on everything at once. I mean, so did Snow. Snow got denied too. Why they got denied is beyond me. I don't know, but that's not here nor there. You know what I mean? That side of reasoning, beyond me. Don't know, but let me finish this real quick. I'll just say, I've reassured officer that they are wanted. How fast you accomplished. Well, I've reassured officer that they are wanted and that being taught is not a matter of how fast you accomplish, but that you show improvements and continue to grow. Officers, personally, I find it incredibly confusing to not allow officers out of shift to be taught. Personally, I find it incredibly confusing to not allow officers out of shift to be taught when no cadets are waiting. Cadets should be given any opportunity when applicable to be taught quite specifically when there's no cadets. The other thing too, personally, the fact that issues are coming all the way from the cadet level raise concern. When you work up the chain, I have delegated to addressing a lot of the issues. However, there is still deep concern that the system is not flowing as expected. I don't think it solely falls on FTOs. And while I think we as FTOs can improve, I think everybody needs to reassess what is going on. I've delegated to addressing a lot of these issues. However, there's still deep concern that the system is not flowing as expected. I don't think it solely falls on FTOs, and while I think FTOs can improve, I think everybody needs to reassess what is going on. Okay. I think that's an honest statement. I'm making my own notes too. This is when I think we need to. This is gonna hurt. this is I think gonna hurt, but it's not supposed to. But you know, people want you know, the opinion of others, and I think that we need to be honest with ourselves. And I think if we are not, we are never going to. Let's go to the meeting. Let's go listen. Correct the police department before it goes under. I think most of my notes included are already going to be addressed. Do you think they should hire old FTOs and not ranking officers? I think you need some command, and I think they picked good people for that position. I think that we need more people to FTO, and I think we need... I honestly am not against people going... you know, I don't see an issue with people... Ooh, main lobby is not closing.
For a ride in exchange for telling me what happened exactly. So that's why I took him my cop car and drove him all the way up there.
Yeah, that's the report. That's the report.
Hey, could you close the main lobby door? I don't have my key for some reason.
Incident number. That's why I couldn't find it. It's 2129 2129.
It's 2129 2129.
What is going on?
That's the report. Or sorry, that's the incident. That's the incident. And,
I just walked
with
in.
your
What's the
permission,
incident?
Slacks, can I fire off a taser now for demonstration purposes? Demonstration purposes.
Sure. 2129.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if it left behind a cartridge. It's behind a cartridge.
Get it?
Hey, look at
it
that.
did. Okay, so I don't know if everyone can see, but if you want to stand up now, you should see what our technicians left on the floor here. Left on the floor here.
Okay.
So essentially, this is this would be for anything. So obviously, the C here, this is gonna be the cartridge. This is what's fired from the gun for the gun. This what is that? Fucking whatever that
Projectile.
other one.
Yeah,
projectile. That's kind
projectile.
of where it lands. Where it lands.
Yeah.
If there's blood, I believe it'll be a red marker for the
Correct.
blood for the blood. And essentially, what you could do is you could kind of you know,
It should be your
examine
playlist,
these
Amanda.
and pick them up. And if you take them to the forensics lab that's down at the end of the hallway there, and you just put
Yeah,
them in the locker down in
this
our
is on your
forensics
playlist.
lab, in our forensic lab, it'll automatically add it to the report. So you don't have to worry about cataloging these sons of bitches.
Mm-hmm.
And then
It
I
doesn't.
believe it'll also we haven't been able to test multiple at a time, so it might be kind of scuffy. But if you look at your report on Vivian's, don't do it now. Don't do it now because you're gonna see some weird things. But you should see a magnifying glass next to the evidence. And it'll kind of take you, and best way I could describe it is it's like you're really there. And you know, so like if I put these in the evidence locker here, and these go into like a report that I make, and then I examine them at a later date. You know, it's kind of like I took a photo.
How would you describe the virtual reality?
I mean, it's like an out-of-body experience. That's the best way I could explain it.
Absolutely. And the
So
way it works
is it really high tech?
It's gonna be an
very,
incident,
very high
isn't it?
tech.
Extremely high
I
tech.
got to. How
It feels
high?
so real being there. I'll just say that.
Now, I'm gonna, I guess, leave this up to, you know, if any of the seniors or the captains want to speak up. But I think, like, even though we have the high-tech things, you know, it still might be good to get a photo of these things while they're still on the ground. I mean, what do you all think about that?
100%. I personally wouldn't see an issue with that. I think we need to take photos before collecting evidence as is.
1,000%. Always take
Also-
photos, then collect
Also,
evidence.
while you're in the VR thing, let's not have any kind of Black Mirror, situations. Okay.
Now, from what I
Elaborate.
noticed,
I'd rather
from,
not.
from
It's a good
testing
show.
this on scene of like different incidents. Only one, as you can see here, like only one person has to you know, take a look at it with a flashlight, and then they'll mark it for everyone else to clearly see. I'm not gonna do it because you know, I don't want to fire a gun in here. But I did notice with my Glock, you could actually see a bullet casing on the ground, you know, before these little tag markers out there. So if you're looking real closely, you know, you could actually see like the bullets on the ground before you mark them.
Mm-hmm.
You can take a picture before and after the marker, right? And obviously,
yeah, I mean, I don't want. Yeah, sometimes they could be hard to see, but yeah. But main thing is you don't gotta catalog these things anymore.
No,
This song is good.
I've noticed when somebody goes into VR, I feel like I'm not entirely sure where they are when they're in front of me when it happens. So if someone's in VR and like the power dies, do they get trapped inside there?
I don't know. We haven't had that happen yet.
Oh no.
I think that's an important question.
I mean, we'll find out.
Like, will
one
my
day, we'll
soul
find
and
out one
body be
day.
trapped inside the VR if the power cuts or the Wi-Fi
Well, we
dies?
got,
conscious might
we
be
got
trapped in there.
alien level batteries. We'll be fine.
What if we have like a
It's-
DNS error?
Extra.
Are we just fucked?
Can I get like net runners in there
Extremely
that are gonna
high-tech
like hack me and give me, computer viruses?
After this, just so Viv's work isn't lost, I may go, I don't know, somewhere safe and like pop off a shot into a plate like at Academy. But essentially, when you look at this cartridge here, it's gonna have like a weapon class. You could ignore that. I guess that's how the technician is classifying these weapons. But then it'll have like a unique identifier to the gun, and then they'll have like a generic like, hey, this is for this weapon. So like if I shot off like the PD Glock, I'd see 3 numbers. One would be like the unique identifier to my gun. The second would be designating it as a class 1 weapon. That's why that one doesn't really matter. And then the third would be a casing that, it's a 9mm casing, specific to a PD Glock, has like a generic sense. All right, I think that's the gist of it. That's the gist of it.
You have
I-
any questions? Ask
Ye-
Kurt. He'll help you.
All right, Kurt, I do
No.
have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What constitutes being able, like, do we need, like, how much evidence do we need to be able to actually view a scene?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
One piece
So-
of evidence, all you need.
Well, here's the thing, right? We had a scene earlier where Chatterbox hit 2 people over the head with a wrench.
Duncan
we collected blood on that scene.
Duncan does not
but we
understand
weren't
the
able to
concept of a
actually
meeting.
view it in the VER.
I'm gonna just.
So what I noticed when I was looking at an incident, or it was a report, it was an incident. If photos are added, it doesn't let you view the other evidence. So photos fuck with it somehow. Like you can't enter VR if there's photos.
Oh, okay. So maybe.
And then after, it's like it's a hierarchy as well. So whatever's added last, you can see. So if there's evidence after a photo, you can see that, but otherwise you can't see it.
So get the photos in first, and then the very last thing we should be doing is cataloging the stuff.
From what I've seen for now, probably.
Yeah, give me feedback on that so I can talk to the IT guy about it, because that shouldn't be happening.
Okay.
The other thing I noticed, I don't know if this was just a one-off, but this is from the Slack situation, really. We found a vehicle fragment on a scene, and I don't know if you know the Slacks, but it actually had your DNA on it. So I don't know if that's because it was one from the car that you was driving, or something else, but something to keep in mind, I guess. Keep in mind, if you find a vehicle fragment, you may run that thing through the scanner.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
McNulty, I got a question.
Yeah, what's up,
Did you
brother?
arrest Spider-Man?
Well, actually, I was mid-pursuit, and I clocked the plate, and quickly ran it, and it came back to Peter Parker. He's a local,
no.
apparently.
Peter Parker.
Oh, okay.
So he drives a tornado gasser. So Spider-Man is living amongst us somewhere out there.
Does NoPixel have
And
the
he
VR
lives in
thing
the
as well
south
now?
side.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I really wish you would
It's pretty cool.
violent felony.
Hold
If
on.
we could have DNA swabbed Spider-Man, we could have made some serious money off.
You know what? Fuck it.
Exactly.
We'll worry about it after. I'll show it to you though.
All right. Any question about the forensic stuff we talked about that Jimmy explained? It's in the announcements as well. Obviously, there'll be guidelines kind of coming out, and SOPs kind of help out with what's going on. Next, scene control. Make sure you read that, understand it.
One's raising his hand like he has a question, Captain. Like he has a question.
Liz?
Well, it's a two-parter. One is vigilantism illegal, and two, if it is, can we arrest Peter Parker?
Vigilantism is not illegal, but if they get, if they interfere with our police work, it's obstruction.
Before this goes away,
Good to know.
I just want to get a chance
All
to
right,
read it.
like I was talking about, announcement, scene control. I cannot stress how important that is. A lot of times we tend to place the blinders on or tunnel when it comes to scene control, or there's a lot going on to where we're not slowing ourselves down. Take your time with the scenes. Make sure everybody's questioned, detained, frisked, GSR, whatever it may be. And before you cut people loose, make sure you talk to each other. Make sure everybody's good. Make sure you talk to each other, see who's the scene lead, who's going to be doing what, delegate roles, work together as a team, and then figure out the appropriate outcome. Once you've done that, then from there, decide to either cut people loose or pursue charges. So I want to see a sticker time with large scenes, especially ones that involve either gunfire, stabbings, multiple parties of he said, she said, and obviously, brandishing of a firearm.
My one bit of advice for anyone that's not good at scene control: take your time. Even those giant scenes where there's 100 fucking bajillion things going on at once, you're in no rush. Obviously, if there's someone critical, that's in that moment in time, but you're in no rush. And if you have any 95s that are fucking yep, just tell them to shut the fuck up.
Here's the thing too as well. Whenever you come into a scene where you have a suspect or obviously somebody who's severely injured and they're suffering from like a gunshot wound or stab wound, the first action shouldn't be placing the cuffs on them, because that could cause more injuries to them, right? Understand that, hey, maybe we should provide medical, pack their wounds. Then from there, do the GSR, do the cuffing before they go into the ambo. So times you might look at the situation and the person you're dealing with, and you might think, okay, medical is required first, then I can do my police work. And understand you'll have time for both. But also, if you're gonna be doing something like that, make sure you keep an eye on the suspect. That way, if they do get shuffled around, move around,
We're
you
streaming
know
the
where
meeting
they
with the
are,
captains. It's
and
not
you
going to be an
can
official
make sure
sit
they're
down. We're
cuffed
just going
before
to
they get
you'll see what happens.
placed into the amble and then transported to the hospital.
You'll see what happens.
Any questions about them?
There's no way we're going to get every captain to sit down with Flop.
Okay.
That's just not reasonable.
Second, there's been an increase of violence against police officers, myself included. I was involved in an incident where I was shot from behind. I'm lucky to be alive today. I mean, the bullet barely missed any brain tissue to where I wouldn't be here today speaking to y'all and talking about what's going on. And also, we had 2 officers respond to an armed robbery down by Cypress Flats District, where we believe they've been ambushed and they lost their PD guns. I didn't lose my PD gun, of course, because I was shot.
Oh my god.
And the person ran away afterwards. Unfortunately, we've lost 2 PD guns during an incident where officers were trying to investigate an armed robbery, and it seemed like they walked into an ambush. So when it comes to the Cypress Flats area and Orchard Avenue, proceed with caution. I've seen a lot of activity down there.
I'm gonna walk around my gun.
Rancho, all the way down to Hangar Way. Those 3 streets are very busy with either drug sales, a lot of armed robberies, suspicious individuals, a lot of activity, a lot of movement. So whenever you approach somebody down there, make sure you have a 77. If you don't have a 77, stay back, gather some information, take some photos. You know, you don't always have to make a move right away. Sometimes it's better to get in the information gathering stage before trying to make an arrest. And of course, lastly, if you have any issues, any problems,
it's not the Cornwood strat.
Command. If you're frustrated, you got complaints, you got issues,
Ooh.
you want to, vent them out or talk to somebody
Ooh.
so you can make sure your voice is heard. There's plenty of seniors and officers you can speak to if you're a cadet to a PPO to an officer to a senior officer to captain, right? So there's a chain of command. Talk to those seniors, talk to people involved. I would love to hear your feedback, but I'd prefer if it went through appropriate channels. Other than that, I got no more things to say, and the last thing I want to say to everybody, okay? Can y'all imagine a ship?
Yeah.
Okay. And imagine a ship, and close your eyes, okay? And
Okay, close my eyes.
Ship,
Yep.
all right? Close your eyes. Imagine this ship, okay? And then you're on it, right? And then the water,
Sinking.
okay?
Could be any 3 of them.
The water
I'm sinking.
is something that you cannot control, right? You can only control yourself and your actions, right? And you never get judged by your anger, but for your anger, right? So it's depending on how that anger controls you and how you act. So it's important to stay cool, calm, and collective out there. There's a lot going on. And I believe every one of you is strong enough to handle what's out there, right? You're on a ship. You're the captain of the ship. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the water. You cannot control the storm. All you could do is what? Brace for it and take the actions necessary to get through it.
Bassism.
Hell yeah. Woo.
I'm on a boat.
Or book a flight next time. Am I right?
With that being said, be out there and be safe. And y'all dismissed. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Cap.
Thanks, Cap. Cap. Cap, can I talk to you?
Sure.
Awesome.
Before
we'll
he
talk
does,
in
I
separate.
got another little feedback thing on that evidence thing. If you look at the
I know he didn't just do that.
Would you stand?
I don't know if it was the distance or something else was going on, but the ones in the city, she said those had the correct placement, but the ones that you see up in Sandy, those were
My
actually
man
done in the
actually just
sheriff's
put up the
office, and for
Titanic.
some
That's
reason,
crazy.
They're appearing like a couple blocks to the northeast.
What's you said 1515, right?
2129, I think. 2129.
Oh, 2129. Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at that map here, you'll see that there's some, like, in the city, like she said, those are all correct placements. But if you go up to the ones that are in Sandy Shores, those were all done in the police station, but they're instead showing up on Marina Drive,
Sorry,
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah,
Okay,
they're
all
just
right.
like, there's a little bit of discrepancy.
Can you
there.
provide that feedback for me real quick so I can just
You want me just to email it to you? Yeah, okay, I can do that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Jimmy. Thank you. Flop, come
Yep.
sir.
All good. How you feeling, Cap? I'm glad to see you on duty and still, you know, safe. But I wasn't there earlier. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie. I've never heard a loud bang before things kind of just, you know, turned off.
No, I get that. I get that. I had emailed you a while ago. I'll talk about it so that you could see it. Are you aware that seniors can see everything, including altering everybody's ranks currently?
Correct.
Is that supposed to be the case? I can see like command reports and stuff.
Correct.
I didn't look at them. I wanted to make sure that was
No,
okay.
no. We made a change for seniors. I didn't get a chance to talk to you and the rest of shift 3, but seniors now are able to view command reports and make command reports. So that way we can find a place where we can talk about incidents or complaints in the same place and, you know, get caught up on what's going on, and we can delegate more to seniors.
Really? Okay, well, I'll put this in a command report then, but I wanted to share something with you, and I want to preference this, because this was the main reason I wanted to talk to you. I know that we've talked here and there, and you asked me about getting feedback from people, and I know you brought it up in the meeting. What I'm going to share with you here, what's your state ID?
1183.
1183. All right. It's going to be a document. I will put everything in that report then and make a command report about it. It's a lot. It is a lot of notes. It's a lot of information. And a lot of it is mostly negative. I'm just going to be blunt with you about that.
I mean, I figured.
Yeah.
I'm not a fool.
I want every one of the captains to see what's going on. I made my own personal notes about how I feel about things too.
Do you mind if I just
yeah,
listen on
no.
the phone?
Sure, that's fine. That's actually great. That's awesome.
I like how you done it, Officer 1, Officer 2.
Yeah. I don't want personality involved in these complaints. I don't want anyone feeling like they're being called out. But I think that there's a lot of question involved in frustration. The main point of contingency that I've seen from a couple people is that people feel like there's an inconsistency above as well. And I think a lot of it comes down to that there's a process that every captain has in each shift. And there's a little bit of freedom for captains to do their things. Some people are being told that they're okay to do something, and then in another shift being told that they're not allowed to do something.
Can you give me an example of that so I can understand it better?
Sure. Like the officer number 4, I believe, stated at the bottom of page, let's see. Sort of at the bottom of page 3 into 4. The interview process is...
I know who that is, actually.
Okay. I'm going to state this, regardless of who it is, and regardless of what they stated. I don't even want you to tell me who it is if you think you know.
Well, I'm not going to tell you, but
Yeah,
I've heard the same. I've heard the same exact complaint like 20 times from this person.
Okay. Stuff like that is one thing. I just spoke to the last statement in there is from a cadet who stated that they were told that they were good to get trained on one shift, and then told in another shift, you can't. And they were informed by a captain that, you know, if there's no cadets waiting, you know, they're able to follow through. Now, I put my own notes at the bottom, and I'll be blunt. The overall consensus that I've seen, and if you want my, like, super blunt, there's issues from cadets from the foundational level that's not allowing stuff to operate as it moves up the chain. And I think that partially it is an inconsistency in maybe management. And that's not any, you know, that's not supposed to be like degrading or a negative thing. I am just pointing out what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is that most people think that there's an inconsistency above. People get mixed signals. People make their own assumptions because they can't get one straight answer. And when cadets are feeling unwanted at the moment in the PD, it puts a huge concern on me to say, okay, if a cadet sees it, then something needs to be addressed, something needs to be brought up, something needs to be changed. I don't know what it is, but these complaints involve people from shift 1, 2, and 3. I tried to get a good run on people, and I'm going to keep adding to it, and I'll make sure that I add stuff to the report. If I'm allowed to make a command report, I'm going to. And start making more direct notes of this. I don't want anyone to feel unwanted here in the PD, and I want voices heard. But I'll tell you personally, I know people are currently taking time away because they feel like they're having a hard time being on duty as is. And I don't want people to be away feeling like they're uncomfortable being on duty. I want people to be on duty, Cap, to be honest with you. And I feel like if we can make change, I want to make change. So the anonymous complaints are there. I'd like, respectfully for everyone to read it and take the time. I put a lot of work into it. Not that I expect you to read it this second. I really did try my best, though.
I do appreciate that, Flop. I mean, this is good. This is good to get some feedback from it. Obviously, some of it is valid. Some of it will not be because of
that's fine,
right?
That's fine.
Everybody has a different perspective at different levels, right? And I want to understand the perspective because it's important to know what's happening at the low level, right? Because that kind of just goes all the way up to the top.
Mm-hmm.
For me, as far as the biggest complaint I keep hearing, the most common denominator or common theme is more cops, right? But the problem is we've had cadets wait in queue for 5-6 hours and nobody's taking them. Nobody is taking certain cadets in certain shifts. And those cadets are sitting for hours. And then I got FTOs complaining about not enough cops when they're not even willing to take the cadets who are waiting 4 or 5 hours in queue.
Officer number 6 tried to get on duty in shift 1, who was at a shift, and they were told by Ruth that they were not allowed to try not to be taken out on duty. And apparently this person was told by another captain that they were allowed to if there were no cadets waiting. Ruth,
was it me that said that? Do you know?
I know who it was. I think out of respect, I don't want to mention it.
No. Was it me that said the captain? Was it me?
One of the other captains stated that it was okay if it was at a shift. I told you.
Well, yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, you're right. I can't say it's to me because that leaves one more.
Yeah. I want this to be as anonymous as possible. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't want anyone. What you see is what you're getting on this, and I want to keep it that way out of complete and utter and just anonymous respect for everybody. So the point I'm making though is between you and I, off the record, I think it is unbelievably dumb to assume that if a cadet wants to be taken out and they're at a shift that they can't be taken out. I understand if there's a system in place for it, but if we want cops on duty, we have cops that want to be taken out. And if they're told to get off duty and to get out of queue because they're at a shift, is completely polar opposite to the direction we want to be headed, in my opinion.
I mean, I personally don't have an issue with that. I'll give you my opinion about it because we need people trained. We need people. Sometimes people's schedules do change. However, it's also about making sure we don't burn the FTOs for that shift for that certain cadets are coming in, right? Because a lot of times we're recruiting for certain FTOs. We're not trying to hire too many, right? So we're not trying to add load to different shifts. So I can see that perspective on things, right? Mm-hmm. However, we're not in a position to say, you know what, we don't need more, right? Because we always need more. We always need more training. We always need more cops. So right now, it's probably best to just bite the bullet and make these changes kind of happen till things are more stable.
I think that's the problem, though, is I think from the stability level from below, I think what we're working with is, if you want my honest opinion, I know some FTOs are already being burned out. And I don't think anyone coming through the cadet process at the moment is ready to take on FTOing. We don't even have anyone being pushed to full officer yet. Completely just my opinion and the way I see it, I don't see there being an issue if you needed to bring in some more experienced people as well to help the process. Right now, it's really hard. I think most shifts are doing a good job taking cadets. I don't think anyone's being left. Per se, from what I've seen. I could be wrong, right? I don't bleed into shift
like
one.
I said, I mean, I've gotten the perspective, well, I never get picked as a cadet. I sit there in queue all the time, right? So I've heard that perspective as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I I'm sort of just throwing out that I would not be opposed to, and I think most people would not be opposed to right now, if there were some other people with some good experience who we could get through the process quicker to try and help work out FTOing and try and help address some stuff, right? I could be wrong about that. You could tell me no, but I could see that being a very valuable tool for us right now where we're at least in the times that I'm around. Late shift 2 into shift 3. I'm seeing it, I'm hearing it, and I'm watching it.
I mean, tell me about it. I've been through every single shift.
Oh yeah, I know. Listen. I have
It's
no room to
rough.
complain. You're pulling fucking 15-hour days. Trust me, I know you know.
It is rough. Okay, I feel bad being off duty for an hour.
You shouldn't though. I think that's why we need more people to help though, and I think that's why we need more people to, take that burden off. I personally, this is me being blunt and honest. I think it's silly that we would have a cop take 2 cadets at once. I think we need more people.
I'm gonna take 3 probably here pretty soon.
Here's my question though. What if one of those cadets has a hard time learning that way? Let's say, for example, one of them is having a hard time learning with multiple people in one vehicle. They didn't retain the information that way. Does that do us justice getting them out? At that point, I feel like we're pushing on quantity, not quality.
I would rather have them with me in the cop car than sitting in the queue waiting for an FTO. And that's kind of my philosophy, right? At least they're observing what's going on. And I usually have people do something minimal, radio or only, or maybe write a report. So that way the task I'm giving them is not it's not a lot, but they can focus on it. And if they excel on that one, then I can move on to the next thing.
Sure. Definitely. I want to make sure cadets are getting an opportunity to retain. I think the philosophy of getting them out on the road is important. But if you have too many people in one car, I feel like at that point, I mean, listen, I could tell you when I was a cadet, it was overwhelming just hearing radio and driving at the same time. So for a cadet to be in a car with 3 people asking questions to one person, not only is that one going to, eventually burn you out, but eventually that person's going to either 1, not retain the same information, or 2, not going to get an opportunity to either ask their question. I think getting them on the road is good, but I want to make sure people are being taught and getting an opportunity to ask any and all questions. I think we're pushing more quantity than we are quality when we're taking multiple people. That's my philosophy on it. I could be wrong.
But at the same time, how are we going to get quality if there's not enough people pushing quality?
More FTOs. We need
But
more.
You said it yourself, there's not enough people that are, for that position. There's not enough people that are stepping up to be FTOs. I mean, there's current FTOs
who do we
doing
have
2 or
right
3
now,
hours. I can go through a roster. I mean, for what? For all FTOs or just shortened shifts?
Well, I mean, one of the complaints I've received is that some people aren't even coming around right now, which is, I mean, that's fair. Whatever the reason is the reason. But if we have cadets and we feel obligated to have to take 2 or 3 people, would we not essentially be counteracting ourselves by saying that, the only way we're going to get people out on the road is if 3 are bundled in a car? I don't think that's a fair process. I don't think we have anybody that's close or ready or has the experience to actually take over the roles of FTOing right now, which is why I was suggesting bringing in maybe some people who maybe have a little bit more experience to help with that process.
Fair, but some of the people we brought in through Fast Track have also struggled as well through the PPO phase or making mistakes. So it's a double-edged sword, right? Because while they might have experience, things have changed, right? There's a lot going on. There's a different kind of just standard, and it takes time to kind of adjust, right? Especially if you take a small break.
Sure, I think that's fair.
So it's just we got to just make sure that we're just making sure that 90% of our focus on training, and the rest is on recruiting, and then pushing quality over quantity. I mean, it has to be this way for the next few weeks to make sure that we got enough numbers to where if people are taking times off, people are burnt out, there's enough around to fill the hole.
I think that's the problem, though, is I think a lot of people right now, I mean, I'm hoping that the forensic lab is inviting enough that people are willing to, pick up the task of helping out and doing new things. But I have been told, and I have seen it myself, that the late shift 3 into shift 1 has a ginormous gap. I've seen 1 cop on duty at those times, pretty consistently.
I've seen myself and 2 cadets on duty.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, that area, that time zone. I mean, Turner's doing academy here pretty soon this weekend, as far as I know. So hopefully, gets it done sooner. I know he's got things going on out of his control too, as well, that have kind of hindered him. So,
yeah, I want to make sure that you're seeing all that. And out of respect, if there's an opportunity to read all the complaints, I would appreciate it. I put my own notes at the bottom as to what I think could be helpful. Personally, if you disagree, you disagree. I'm not looking to challenge any of it, but it's one of those. They're at the bottom there for where I think we can see improvement. I think we need more improvement from the base level. Because, like I said, inconsistencies from management positions, I think cause problems down below. And as problems build down below, we have people as far as cadets losing interest in even wanting to, be around because they don't feel like they're currently wanted. And I think that is a horrible feeling for someone to be feeling. I think if we're going to build morale, not that I like using that word or throwing it around, but if we're going to hold morale and retain morale, I think steps in the right direction to make those improvements are more necessary now than they were a month ago. That's my take on it, but like I said, I'm not looking to say, you're right or I'm right. It's just one of those that's just how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want to listen. We should listen twice as more as we, speak, right? And I want to listen to the feedback, right? And that's why I had you kind of collect it, because you could be that bridge between us, the captains, and the people
definitely.
below.
And I plan on continuing to ask people, and I'm going to keep adding to my list of notes, and I want to continuously update the reports. I think moving forward, I'm going to add dates to them too. This way, if changes are made, kind of when changes happen. I can tell you that every statement there has been in the last week. That's been the last week of just notes that I've received. But like I said, I'll make a command report about it and just kind of give like a time frame as to when these complaints were taken. I just want every captain to at least see it. I'm not asking for an opportunity where people could, feel degraded. That's not what my goal is with this. I want the feedback to be heard, and I think people that are afraid to speak up should have their voices heard. And I'm hoping that hopefully, as time goes on, this will be helpful to how we proceed.
Howdy, Burke.
How you doing, Bear?
Howdy. Is this like between you two private?
Not really, no. I mean,
it's really up to Flop. These kind of
mind.
concerns will be shared with you anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I hope. Well, what is it?
Is Barrick up to date with the command report stuff?
Depends what it is. I wasn't around yesterday.
No, you're good. We have access to command reports now, essentially, which is nice. I'm gonna be making a command report. I just spoke to Slacks about it. I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it. Sort of anonymously, just getting notes from people about how they feel currently on duty and sort of where people are feeling points of contingency, maybe points where they're not, able to make their voice heard. And I'm pulling everybody aside from every rank, just to, say, hey, how are things going? How you feeling? Anything you want to bring up? Anything good? Anything bad going on? Obviously, no one's going to come to me with good information. It's mostly going to be bad information.
Yeah.
But I think if you get most of people's complaints, you'll find the consistencies between different officers' like frustration levels, and you'll pick out where people feel the same and where people feel indifferent. So.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot verbally, but
yeah,
nothing.
I've started noting it down for what it's worth. So, hey, Cornwood.
Howdy, can I come in here?
Yeah, that's fine. I think we're about wrapped up. Actually, Slacks, do you think we're wrapped up? I'm sorry. Captain?
Yes, we should be good.
Okay, sorry.
I was just looking at the notes, sorry.
No, you're good. You're fine. What's going on?
Well, Barrick was I thought Barrick was calling for me earlier.
Oh.
What?
Were you?
No.
Oh, I thought out in the lobby. I thought you said Cornwood, and while I was running off.
Oh no, somebody said you were advanced in size, and I thought that was really off the wall.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, that's true. I would say yeah, probably.
Yeah, it was something else.
Hey, y'all like how I single-handedly kept Mr. K, Rami, and Gene Paul occupied for 2 hours tonight?
Yeah, you're doing God's work. I appreciate that.
That is
Thank you.
that is incredible. That's great.
Yeah, and I didn't even get paid for it. So
So it's not prostitution. There you go.
no, I didn't. No, I wasn't. I didn't have no damn. I didn't.
I mean, pictures say otherwise.
No, you know what? Hey, you know what we did? We framed him. He was holding hands with a girl, and I stood in front of a girl, and I told Rami, I said, "Hey, go stand over there and take a photo from the right angle and make it look like he's holding hands with me."
What if that made him even more angry though, and he wanted to shoot more cops after that?
No, no.
A good thing. Well, he seemed pretty calm after we talked to him because we saw him after the fact, and he was
Yeah.
pretty chill. All you had to do is just raise him up, and he'll listen.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Flop. Yeah. Just mark that as a command report.
Yep.
I was
And
gonna say, does it have to have the tag to actually be?
no, I mean it's a category. Just mark it as give it a tag
that's
so
fine.
we can sort by it much easier. Is there anything else y'all got? I want to bring up anything else going on?
No, not at all. I just wanted to bring that up with you one-to-one, let you know sort of just the information pertaining to that, and that, you know, I'm simply just noting it down so that hopefully it's valuable feedback. But that's about it. That's all I really needed.
All right.
What was the day a week ago? Or the date a week ago, I should say. What's today? Is it
Would have
February?
been the
Second.
26th, probably.
Holy shit. It's already February?
It's the second, so it would have been the 26th. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'm just noting it down, the time frame that these were taken, so that in case change, right, was brought up, that's sort of just there. Okay. Yep, that's all I got. I think I'm all good, Cap.
All right. Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so
I'm just
much.
gonna look at this warrant real quick. See what's going on with that.
You were all good. I'm gonna go ahead and step out. I think that went really well. I think Flop just being like, listen, this is like... They're...
There's no one in there. You should be.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking.
Awesome.
All right.
I think that was a really valuable conversation. Because it's not meant to... Why is this not working? Bob wants to talk to what do you call it? Hold on. All right.
Yeah,
Definitely bring it up to Turner too. Well,
Sanitation check.
it's all good out in
Sanitation
here.
check.
You guys are good.
Oh, okay, just making sure. Got it. Let me check the rest. Just